scientific one. In what way are you wondering does it affect the sperm count? Does it make it higher or lower or either? I guess either? Okay, so to answer that question, I would have to say, no, it won't affect a man's sperm count, okay? So, some people think that if they stop having sex, they're, not going to still produce sperm. They will. So it's okay if you're sexually active, and it's okay if you take a break from having sex. Your body is always producing sperm. Men are fertile 24/7, like around the clock. Where women are fertile, how often?
Once every 20 years.
Yeah, once a month. And then how long is an egg viable once it leaves the ovary and is traveling the fallopian tube? How long can an egg live? About 12 to 24 hours. Okay? Yeah, so really, women are only fertile once a month, and that egg's only viable 12 to 24 hours. Men are fertile 24/7, and if a man ejaculates in a female, how long can sperm live inside a female? 72 hours. Woo! Yeah. Let's have to change seats. You should be up here. So, does masturbation affect sperm count? I would have to say no. Okay?
Nice. Well, thank you. Cool. All right.
You're safe.
You're good. Okay. Well, you know what they say. Speaking of, being safe. Jocelyn Elders, the former U.S. Attorney General. Anybody hear of her? No. She was around during the Clinton administration. She made a comment on masturbation. Someone asked her a question, like an aside question, and she mentioned that it was healthy. She was actually fired for speaking out pro-masturbation. And what she said, I forget the exact percentage, but she said something to the effect of 80% of men admit to masturbating, and 70%, and I know they're high percentages, but I forget exactly what her percentages were, but they were high. Something like 80% of men admit to masturbating, and 70% of women admit to masturbating, and the rest lie, is what she said. So, yeah, so you're good. It's all good. Yeah. Okay, next.
Next question. Is anal sex unhealthy for guys or girls?
Oh, so these are great questions. So, is anal sex unhealthy? What is it? Is anal sex unhealthy for guys or girls?
Yeah.
Okay, so why would they ask that question? What do you think about anal sex? Go ahead.
Mr. Hands, the guy with the horse that. I'm not kidding.
I don't know what you said.
Somebody knows?
The guy that
died from a horse.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we're talking about anal sex between two
Well,
people.
oh yeah, it's still they're afraid. They're afraid of human.
Oh, because a penis is so big?
I'm just figuratively speaking.
Yeah, okay. Right, because an anus doesn't stretch at the vagina. Is that what you're thinking?
I honestly don't know. I'm just
Okay, no, right, this is good. No, this is good. So what were you going to say? We'll get back to it.
Can't you catch infection more easy when you're having anal sex?
And why would you say that?
Because I don't know. I was like,
No, you're going somewhere with it. No, you're on the right track. Yeah, I think you're on the right track, so I'm taking it one step further. You're right in a way. Why? And you're both right. You're both leading to the same thing. You can have anal sex. You can have whatever kind of sex you want as long as it's consensual, right? So you don't get in trouble. But why might anal sex be more risky is what I'm saying. And you two are both on the right track. Who else? Well, how about the tissues in your rectum are thin and don't stretch like your vagina. So what could happen easier?
You can have a tear.
You can have a tear. When you have a tear, you can have an exposure to what? Blood. And what's in blood? We worry about some viruses in blood, like hepatitis, HIV. So while you can have anal sex, you need to be very, very careful, whether you're a man or a woman. So we're going to answer the two at the same time. So you need to be sure to use a condom, and you need to be sure to use lots of lubricant. And you know how when you're an athlete you say no pain, no gain? That you don't go by that saying. When you're having anal sex, you listen to your body, and if you have pain, you stop. So very, very important. And then someone else mentioned bacteria. So, right, so there's some bacteria that lives in the rectum That's why they say, you know, like when you go to the bathroom, wipe front to back, not back to front. You know, you teach like little kids that. It's so that they don't introduce E. coli into another part of the body where it's not natural there. So yeah, you definitely want to wash with bacteria. So you were all correct in your answers, which is sort of cool. Well, very cool actually. And wait, where was I going? I wanted to go somewhere with the bacteria thing. Oh, what I also wanted to say is if you're like switching sex acts, like if you have anal sex, then you know, like anal vaginal penetration, you want to be sure to change condoms. Well, condoms are only one-time use, but you don't want to reuse it, and you don't want to introduce anything that you introduced in someone's butt into their vagina, like right in succession without washing it, because you're introducing bacteria in there. And seriously, you know, you see people with infections that get E. coli in there. So that was a great question. These are really good to start with.
A question that's not on the.
Oh.
That's fine.
Oh, no, go ahead. But did we answer that one okay for everyone? Okay. What were you going to say?
This is a question about rape.
You have a question about rape?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think it is, if rape is inevitable, you should relax and enjoy it?
No, because rape.
This was
Right,
This is something
so-
that's like.
So did you hear what the question was? If you think rape is inevitable, should you relax and enjoy it? Okay, so there's a few different things. If someone's being raped, they're not giving consent. Okay? If someone has a gun to your head, or a knife to your throat, or a chainsaw to you, and they're forcing themselves on you, and all you can do to survive is to, you know, just be still and what happens, what happens, that doesn't mean you're enjoying it. It means that you're doing what you need to do to survive. So, I don't know that I would say to sit back and enjoy or whatever, but
It was in the news. Like,
oh, it was in the news, yeah, and that's good that you brought that up. So I would say to keep yourself safe, do what you need to do to keep yourself safe, then get yourself some help right away. And, you know, people who you go to have different philosophies. When you come to health services, my first thing is your safety. So what's the first place I want to get you to? To an emergency room, okay? And they'll do a whole sexual assault exam, all right? And I want to make sure you're safe, and they'll offer you a lot of medicine. They'll test you for a lot of things and offer you a lot of medicine. And if it's a female, because men can be raped too, if it's a female, they'll offer you the morning after pill, emergency contraception, Plan B. So that's my job, is your safety. Police officers, their job is, you know, find you the safety, find you me to get you to safety, and catch the bad person. Who's the alleged perpetrator who did this, who hurt you in this way? So they're going to ask a lot of questions, and it seems like scary, but their role and their whole purpose is to find the person who did this to you and hold them accountable, okay? So, but I think the main thing is do what you have to do to survive, and it doesn't mean in any way that you enjoyed it or that it was your fault. Okay, does that answer that question?
Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
good question. How did you find that?
Bob Knight, you know, he's a coach. He's a college coach.
Yes,
retired.
yes.
He said that at like the college conference. And so,
Ah,
I don't know. I just.
you know, in one of my classes we do controversial issues in human sexuality. Yeah, but like we do debates on it. Yeah, good. Anyone else have to add to that?
Can I add something
Yes.
to the previous question?
Sure. This was the one about anal sex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that why when you go to give blood, they ask you a series of questions about, specifically about, like, have you had anal sex with another male before it's like 1970 something? Is that why they ask that question?
Yeah, because so we call it MSM, men who have sex with men. If it's protected and you use a condom and you use lubricant, there's nothing wrong with that. You have good communication and you know you're in a monogamous relationship. But there was a time in the past where, and it was before people really knew about HIV and AIDS, that they didn't need to worry about that. So that could be one of the screening questions that they ask. And another screening question, I think if you had a tattoo or a piercing within the past 12 months, they won't let you donate blood because they just worry what if you were exposed to something. Or if you traveled outside the country, they worry what if you brought something in. I think it has to be 6 months upon returning from out of the country. I know when I at risk of, you know, of possibly my blood being contaminated. Yeah. But anybody else?